Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining everybody for another Whiskey Wednesday. We're going to have some fun today, do our first ever interview with Haze Gray cigars. So this is a brand near and dear to Kelsey's heart. He's been talking about them for quite a while. So we are looking forward to meeting them, seeing what they're all about, and getting to ask some questions about cigar, do some whiskey pairings, all of those types of things. So if you happen to be outside like me, hey, maybe join us for a little smoke. Otherwise, enjoy from the comfort of your home. And man, I can't believe I'm out here in the fall with all these beautiful leaves behind me. Really is nice. So thank you for joining today with you, friends. Let's kick off the show. If the mouse will work. It's almost working. All right. Well, I am going to kick things off here with our new darling, the Walleye Run Malted Rye, otherwise known as the Casting Couch Rye. With this one, thank you so much for everybody for all the support this week. Selling out of this essentially in 24 hours, given that it's a rye and a malted rye at that from a craft distillery, just shows the passion that we have in this community and just the willingness to try something new. So if this one is your first impression of New Holland's, I said New Riff earlier, I meant New Holland, New Holland's whiskey, man, make this the start of the adventure. I think we're setting the bar pretty high, but we have had fun with them for years. And if you are familiar with anything from New Holland, also give us feedback and let us know what you think of this one compared to other stuff that you had from them. All right. Let's bring on Darrell. So
what's going on?
How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. Trying to navigate a crazy household right now, but I'm all right. Ready to have some fun.
You're used to it.
Yeah.
Chaos. We thrive in chaos, right?
Yeah, definitely get used to it, but it's always a madhouse at first.
Man, a weekend, with this malted rye now in your house, man. What do you think of it? I'm sure you've gotten halfway down the bottle.
Not quite, but I could very easily get there. I can just literally just drink that every day. I love it. I think one of your most recent videos, you were talking about me scoring at probably the highest, I think it is actually the highest of our picks. I really, really dig it. And dude, I'm just excited for everybody else to try it. I know a good amount of people tried it in Kentucky when we were there a couple weeks ago, but dude, this thing is just absolutely ridiculous. So I can't wait for next year too, when we do our battle to see where this actually really ranks. But I think it's going to be pretty high.
I think it'll be up there with that mouthfeel and the finish. And then it's got that complexity angle. I think that's the thing that I love about it so much. You can pick these flavors apart. If you combined all of our flavor notes on this thing between all the groups that we're in, it's like a page long. I mean, it was funny trying to consolidate all this.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, let's bring in Kelsey.
What's
How you doing,
buddy? Cheers, whiskey friends. Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday, man. I've been waiting since August to do this thing. So I'm excited about tonight. Thanks again to everybody who supported the drop this past week in Walleye. It went crazy fast, which is great. You guys are going to love this bottle. I'm telling you, when we tasted it for the first time after letting it sit a few extra months, we were very much blown away with how much the summer helped that barrel. Not that it was a bad barrel to begin with, but it was just added some depth. So I'm really excited about tonight. Guys, we've got a special treat for you. We are not doing super chats, but thank you so much, Ed, for doing that. We appreciate it.
Always
we'll do that, put that in for next week. Tonight we're talking with Haze Gray Cigars. Now, this is a new cigar company out of Florida. I was lucky enough to go meet Val and Rue and their brother Pedro in Memphis with the Turks. and got to hang out at a cool cut and light event along with some whiskey tasting, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to bring them on. We'll talk about the brand, how they got into the cigar industry, how they came up with the name, all of the fun stuff, but also talk about some of our picks that I sent them. I sent them 5 different picks, I believe, of 5 or 6 different picks of ours, and we'll talk about pairings and notes. And Val sent me a list. I'm going to start sending our whiskey to Val to write tasting notes. She was awesome about tasting notes with the cigar as well as the whiskey. So
Ooh, I'm excited to hear.
Bring these guys on. You guys welcome Val and Rue to the show.
Hello.
Hey.
What's going on?
All right.
Still got some
Let's see.
I'll see what I can do.
All
right.
right.
Let's see if we can see without them using audio.
Wouldn't be YouTube without technical.
Nothing I can do on my end
to get rid of the echo.
Are you guys using a tablet or a laptop?
A MacBook.
Okay. Let me look at something. I'm going to go for just a second.
All right.
So, Jeff, if you'll take over for a minute, I'm going to try to see from my side what would be going on with their computer, since I have a similar computer.
Okay. Well, let me get in some other news then as we go along here. But there will be another barrel coming soon, right on the heels of the Walleye Run. Now, to set expectations with this one, it will be very short. So not using this, I'm using this to build the awareness that it's coming for all those that are in the Patreon, particularly the top tiers, because there should only be around 30 of these that go public. The barrel is that short. We'll keep an eye on the counts and be as transparent as we can throughout the whole process. But I just received word today that Shared Pour is bringing this in, hopefully next week. So we'll move quick once it's already there, because we already have these preview bottles in hand. But we have the Copper and Cask coming soon. This is another 8-year MGP Durrell. Why don't you tell us a bit more about this one? You're the architect of this thing.
Can't really speak too much on it. Just a crazy single barrel from them guys. There was a few different ones. There was one in particular that I really wanted to choose, but it had less than an inch of whiskey in that barrel. This one, actually, when you laid it horizontal, it had 1.5 inches of whiskey in it. But just super dense. Like, if you can imagine, like, the color on it's crazy. You can't really tell on Jeff's because he's outside. Let me get mine.
Yeah, you can. Look how that light.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, you can see. Like, it's dark. Like, so it's just like super saturated, man. Like, and it's a completely different profile from what anybody's really had from Copper and Cask, in my opinion. It tastes more like that old school MGP that me and Jeff love, like that Mets era, like literally like 2008, 2007 time frame. Barrel proof, when we first selected it, it was 100 proof, 100.2. It went up to 106, because it sat in the barrel for a little bit. But don't let the proof fool you either, man. Like, this thing still hits on like every level, front, mid, back, finish at 106. Like, it's just a crazy bottle. I know some tried it actually in Kentucky as well, because we brought one up there. But yeah, if you're in the top tier,
it's not getting
do
to
not miss out. Yeah.
Haze Gray Cigars Facebook.
You're not going to want to miss out, but we'll certainly be sending samples of it in like some giveaways and all that good stuff, because we know how short it is, and we want everybody to try it. So if you don't get one, we'll definitely be giving some samples away.
Yeah, we'll spread the wealth as much as we can on something so short. But I think that's the reason why it is so concentrated too. As Darrell was saying, I've got to sit down and do my tasting notes, but it does feel like a different era MGP. Like, if you bought an 8-year back in 2015, and those were typically very low proof, it's kind of that profile. So that's what excites me the most. But I will be sitting down to do official tasting notes here, probably Thursday or Friday, so we can get those to Shared Pour. Darrell, Kelsey, I'll need you to do the same with your bottles. So get me tasting notes. We'll consolidate and get everything ready so that's ready to launch here as soon as we can.
I may go with a Gary explanation on tasting notes. What did he put on the walleye tasting notes? Something like 3 words. I don't even remember what it was. It was something like, "This is great" or something like that.
What do you say? Nose nice, palate nicer, finish
Yeah.
nicest. That's all my notes.
Yeah.
See if we got it working for them.
Yeah, they
Alright.
switched laptops and switched. So hopefully we'll try it again, and hopefully this one will work.
What did Richie say? Richie, I never see the older copper and cast. Do they ship? They do ship. Straight off their website. They'll do a lot of like their small batch releases and distillery releases. Just the regular store picks and single barrels typically are going to be on their website, but everything else for the most part does. I just don't know if they ship to Cali, but I do know they ship.
Okay.
And they'll get those batches on there too, like that weeded batch that we talked about a couple months ago was up on their website too. So
Yep.
going to the website direct for some of their batches and blends is probably one of your best bets. But this one will be going through shared pour. All right.
Gonna be a killer bottle. Let's try this one more time. Can you guys hear us now?
Yeah, can you hear us?
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're good.
perfect.
Yay!
Yeah.
Woo.
Welcome.
Thanks again.
Thanks for having us. Sorry
Absolutely.
for difficulty.
So
We got to work on it. That's all that matters.
Val and Rue, you guys are in. Is it Pensacola?
Yeah, Pensacola. It's right on the Panhandle. It's about 3 minutes from the Alabama-Florida state line.
And tell us a little bit about how you guys got into the cigar industry, where the name Haze Gray, War Dogs. Obviously, this is a veteran-owned company. Everybody, if we didn't push that enough, we want to help support all of our vets. That's why we pushed the coffee with Drifting Drams and Ethan being a vet as well. So we're all about that and want to help support veteran-owned companies as well. Tell us a little bit about how you guys got into the cigar industry and the name and all of that, just so everybody kind of gets an idea. No,
absolutely. Well, I appreciate the support, man. It really means a lot to us, and we're excited to be on tonight. I was dabbling with cigars. I started smoking cigars in 1996 when I joined the military, and just kind of picked up on it and enjoyed it a little bit. But it wasn't until about, I'd say probably about 3-4 years ago, where I really started diving into cigars and started getting really intrigued. And then about 2 years ago, I was on a cruise and I was heading down to the Dominican, and I was on the boat smoking a cigar, and something just dawned on me, like trying to figure out like, how do you make a cigar and what goes into it? And when we pulled into port in the Dominican, I signed up for a tour and went to a factory, and that's where I got hooked. Like I got bit by that bug, you know? And the rest of the cruise on my way back to the United States, all I did was research how to start your own brand and how to get into the cigar industry. And it was a little intimidating at first, you know, like there's a lot of brands out there, and I was like, man, I'm a little nervous, didn't know if I should do it or not. And I connected with a guy that I met a long time ago, and we just kind of started chit-chatting, and he owns his own manufacturing, and he's like, look, I can coach you, I can teach you, but there's just 2 rules if you're going to start your own brand. He's like, 1, you're going to have to learn how to roll cigars, and 2, you're going to have a cigar on you at all times. So I was like, well, number 2 sounds easy enough, but number 1, I'm not 100% sure, right? A little nervous. So I went to his factory, and for about a week and a half, I just sat down and learned how to roll cigars, learned how to bunch the leaves and blend. And I just started, the more I got into it, the more I fell in love with it. And then my brother, he would come down every winter, because we grew up about an hour south of Boston. And he would come down every winter because he couldn't work because of the snow and everything. So he would come down and he'd spend the holidays, and I started kind of dropping the bug in his ear on what my plans were and what my vision was. And when I got my first samples, I sent him some, and he was like, dude, you got something here, you know? And he's like, look, quit being so scared, pull the stupid trigger already and get this thing going. He goes, I'm going to go home. I'm going to go sell my house and I'm moving down to Pensacola and I want to join you. So he left in March, sold his house in July. And April 1st, we launched War Dogs Bourbon and Cigars. And he was down here in mid-July. So we started getting the ball going. And then, you know, we were learning and kind of trying to figure things out. And we went to trademark War Dogs Bourbon and Cigars. We had a guy that was helping us out. Well, he did all the research and come to find out there's a War Dogs Bourbon already. I was like, oh, man. And then come to find out there was a War Dog already for the cigar in the cigar industry. So it's a company out of Denmark that manufactures cigar boxes. So our attorney's like, look, you can't use either name. And I'm like, well, you know, bourbon cigars is hard enough, right? I mean, there's a lot of red tape, a lot of things you got to know. And so let's just focus on cigars and put the bourbon on the back burner for now. And that's when he came back and he's like, well, there's already a War Dog, a company called War Dogs. They manufacture cigar boxes and you're not going to be able to use it, right? They're small, they're out of Denmark, but if your cigars are in the same humidor, they can come after you. So we had to go back to the drawing board and I was trying to keep a military theme. And that's when Haze Gray was born. And so we were kicking so many ideas around. And in the Navy, we have a term that we use all the time. But just before we headed out to sea, we'd always tell everybody, you know, we're getting ready to get Haze Gray and underway, which means we're pulling out and we're going out to sea for a little while. And we were just hanging out. And all of a sudden, it dawned on me. I'm like, hey, man, why not Haze Gray? We already have a cigar called Haze Gray. And my brother's like, let's do it. And our attorney came back and said, okay, you can use Haze Gray, but you can also use War Dogs as your cigar line. So you're not going to lose any of your following already, it was pretty smart on his part to let us know that. And that's where we're at. And then about 7 months later, I was trying to do my own marketing, take pictures, and I'm a guy, right? I don't have an eye for marketing. I'm not creative. The only creative thing that I came up with was "We got your sticks," which is our tagline. And so Val was like, "I really need some help with your images, right? Your pictures." So Val came on board, and she's been with us ever since. And she's been helping us out with the Instagram and all our flyers and posts, and that's all her.
Nice.
Awesome. So
Very nice.
for people that don't, military, I'm sure everybody kind of knows. I knew it just because of a fucking song, but We Got Your Sticks. You know, Five Finger Death Punch is pretty much one of my favorite bands.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about that in just a second, JG. But you know, that's just a great play on words. I love it.
Yeah, and that was something that I was nervous too, right? When we were doing our trademarking, I was like, man, there was a lounge up north somewhere that had "We Got Your Six." Was it Six or Sticks? But he spelled sticks differently, and it wasn't trademarked. So we jumped all over it right away, you know, and so we put it on everything.
Sweet. Well, I know that you know, some of these have been some of my favorites. I am smoking tonight Patriot. And then I also brought out, because it's my absolute favorite of y'all's, with the Admiral. And so with all of that, you know, how did you just wanted to kind of keep everything military themed, and what was, you know, the impetus behind creating just a all military themed brand? Was it just because of the service, or was it just that's what struck you as we wanted to make sure that, you know, we remind people what's important about the people who serve? What was the impetus behind all of that?
Yeah, so when I started it all, I wanted to build a platform to be able to help out veterans and service dogs as well, right? That's where the War Dogs came from. Mm-hmm. We're all dog lovers. We all have dogs. My brother's got dogs, and my parents. We just love dogs. And one of the things that I've always noticed was, like, we get a lot of support and a lot of help, but service dogs really, they get kind of put on the back burner sometimes, and they're in the thick of things just like we were. And so the Patriot, I wanted to build a platform to be able to help out the veteran community, and we'd already had 6 cigars on our first core line, and but we just felt like, my brother and I just felt like we were missing something, right? And we had one blend left that we kind of created with our mentor, and my brother's like, hey, why don't we just go ahead and roll this out, and we'll call it the Patriot, and we'll donate a percentage of the sales to a service dog charity. And the Patriot was born. And so every Patriot that we sell, we set aside 15% of that sale, and then every quarter we donate to veteran organizations. So as far as the names go, one of the things when I first started it is I wanted to tell my story through the cigars. So a lot of the names have something that means something to me, and a couple to my brother as well. So like the 1982 was the year that we moved to the United States from Portugal. We were both born in Portugal, and we moved to Massachusetts in 82. 1996 was the year I joined the Navy. And then the Admiral is the only thing that has a military name, but it has no connection with the military, right? So I'm in a Mardi Gras crew here in Pensacola, and a position within our Mardi Gras crew is called the Admiral. He's got kind of like a figurehead for the year, and so in 2020 I was the 20th Admiral, and I wanted to pay a little homage to those guys because it was just a great time of my life. So that's where the Admiral came from. And then the brotherhood, I mean, that speaks for itself, right? The military, both when you're in and when you're a veteran, it's just a big community, and it's a big brotherhood, So that's where that came from. And then the other one, the backpack. I love motorcycles. I ride motorcycles. And typically when you have a good looking woman in the back of your bike, we call her a backpack. So that's our chocolate infused cigar. And we're like, well, I'm sure the ladies will love it, so let's go with the backpack. So those are the Admiral and the backpack are really the only two that don't have any connection with the military, but it was fitting.
Nice. So Val spent a lot of time talking about some of the picks as well as the sticks. Let's get into what I'm smoking, the Patriot, what the breakdown is. And for those newbies that may not know what I mean by breakdown, we can kind of talk a little bit about that. And then I'm pairing it with what she suggested, which is our Hulling Station 8-year pick. So if you guys have this Hulling Station 8-year pick, everybody, if you'll go ahead and drink with us. What's interesting about this pairing is not only do you get all of those cocoa and sweet notes with the cigar, it really, to me, it brings out the spice in the whiskey, which isn't there by itself. I mean, it's a pretty sweet whiskey. But so what's the breakdown on this particular cigar?
Are you asking me?
Yep.
Either one.
So I'm smoking the Patriot. I'm doing the same pairing that you are. So the Patriot is our double Maduro, all Nicaraguan. So it's got those cocoa espresso, kind of like some dark chocolate notes in it. It's got a little bit of like a sweetness. Is there anything you want to say about the Patriot?
Mm-mm.
And it actually, I'm not a huge whiskey drinker, so I paired all these today, and I chose the Patriot because it's my favorite one, but this is amazing. And it's pairing very well with this Patriot, like bringing out the notes of both. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised because I didn't know how much either one of you drank, to be honest with you, when I sent all that. But I also knew I had smoked through, I had bought a 5-pack or 6-pack of y'all cigars whenever we met in Memphis, and wanted to smoke through everything just to kind of get a sense of where it started, how the blends progressed. One of the things that I noticed the consistency with is with the whiskeys that I sent that I thought would pair well, is there was either a compliment or it enhanced what it was already doing in the cigar. It was either opposite and it brought out things that it didn't have, or it really accentuated the things that it already had. And so I really appreciated the notes that you sent. And I'm going to write up for those that want to kind of a more nerdy approach. I'm going to do a write up with some tasting notes on all of their line and our picks. And then that way, if you guys want to go ahead and grab some of their cigars, smoke through them, we can probably set up a time where we could do that together online on Patreon group, and you guys can kind of go through this experience as well. But I just wanted to get everybody kind of acclimated to who you guys are, what you're doing. I know that Rue and I have been talking about in the future, for those that are interested, working with Steven at Copper and Cask, and then also with another cigar maker, doing a blend for PTSD awareness. The month of February, I believe, is the month for PTSD awareness. So kind of a similar thing. We'll do a whiskey release and maybe a 5-pack of cigars together. And then the proceeds, some of the proceeds are going to be donated to get veterans dogs, is basically what I've kind of really want to do. And so I think it's a great thing because it fits with what you guys are already, passionate about, as well as, making sure we take care of the people that sacrificed a lot to, we can enjoy these great freedoms of smoking great cigars and drinking great whiskey. So, Rue, what are you drinking and smoking tonight? Are you smoking something different?
No, I'm smoking the Admiral. That's my go-to. Was the second cigar that we released, and I just fell in love with it, and it's our number one seller. So it's something I definitely go to. And I'm drinking is it the even Evernorth 6-year. And kind of like what you were saying, it definitely amplifies some of the notes that are in the cigar, especially on the retrohale. I'm a big retrohale kind of guy, and it definitely brings out that peppery. I mean, there's a little bit of pepper when you're smoking it, right, just by itself. But with drinking the bourbon, which is phenomenal, it definitely brings out that spiciness in the like a charred oak type flavor. So it's awesome. It definitely raised my eyebrows a little bit when I took the first sip.
Awesome. Yeah, 130 proof on that.
That's what
That'll
he
do
said.
it.
What are you going to smoke? And he was like, the Admiral. I'm like, ooh, you're getting the 130 proof.
Yeah. So I don't know.
You're muted, Jeff.
I've been muted this whole time.
Yeah.
Kelsey was showing me a list earlier. He's got recommended pairings with all 5 of the picks that they have. So we'll show that to Patreon and everybody. So if you're interested in that, you can go have it, because I know you've got some of these bottles too, and you can share in some of these example pairings, because I think that's a big fun part of the process too, is seeing how this interacts with different cigars, or the same cigar interacts with different whiskeys.
No, absolutely. And what's fun is Darrell smokes 1 cigar a year, typically, maybe 2 at the most. We're trying to get more on board. But I've been sending Jeff cigars for a while, and he's been getting more into cigars. So
'tis the season here too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to nerd out on something different and see how it enhances the experience with bourbon, but also how the bourbon enhances the cigars as well, back and forth. So it's a lot of fun. I was going to go ahead and bring this up so everybody can kind of see this. Give me 1 second.
Now, as Kelsey's, there we go.
So this
There you
is
go, get the website.
This is the website. This is what it looks like, everybody. And then there are some online retailers that are in the chat that have been mentioned. I can't say anything about the address due to YouTube regulations, but you can find them on Toro. And what's the other one, Rue, that online?
Toro, Fat Boy Cigars, and the Wolfpack. You can find.
Wolfpack. Okay.
Yep.
So there's 3 or 4 different places that they can find all of these as well.
Yep.
And then, like I said, if you're more interested in like nerding out and seeing which ones might fit your profile, I'm going to do that and send it out through Patreon and probably make a Facebook post about it as well. So,
Yep.
All right.
And we also like to mention too, even though, because we stopped selling our cigars online, because we were selling them on our website for a little while. And we just decided, we made a group decision to stop selling them online and really push our customers to our retail shops, right? We're popping up in different states throughout the country. And then of course our e-commerce partners. But if it's something that they want, your watchers and viewers want to try, they can always message us, let us know that they watch this on the show and they want to try our cigars, and we'll give them a 15% discount off a sample pack. Just mention that they saw us here, and then we can send them a sample pack and just invoice them through email, and they can try it out.
All right.
awesome.
Very awesome. Now, you mentioned a little bit in your origin story there that it was originally War Dogs Bourbon and Cigars.
Mm-hmm.
So what was going on with the first half of that? Now I'm just totally curious with the War Dogs Bourbon part of it. Still a thing?
Yeah. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. My brother and I, we're tight. We're like this, but we're like oil and water at times as well, right? And so, he told me, he's like, dude, don't get in too deep. We can't get in too deep. I'm like, all right, fine. We'll put it on the back burner. But it's something that is on the forefront of my mind, and I'm not going to let it go. Once we get, we're releasing our second core line in January. Once that starts rolling, then we're going to start dabbling in some bourbon again. It's just, I mean, they go hand in hand. That's why when we first came out, we were War Dogs, Bourbon, and Cigars. What goes better with a cigar than some bourbon, So that's it's definitely there, man. We're not shying away from it at all.
All right.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Jeff, you're a newbie.
Yeah.
You got any questions like that you want to know, or?
Kind of, I'll lay myself bare here. You'd think I would have these type of questions for Kelsey backstage when I'm not, talking live, but why not just lay myself bare, and then other people probably relate. So I am new to cigars in the sense that been smoking them now for a few years, but don't necessarily feel like I really have my sea legs to me. Like, the equivalents of whiskey, like I'm a 90 proofer, in the cigar world. Now, even getting to the basics, like some things that I see and I just never think to question it, to ask about it, because maybe it's embarrassing the moment you want to look cool. I use a V cutter, and I gravitated towards the V cutter because it just felt better, but I don't know if it's actually a better one to use or if it's a more appropriate one to use on different sizes or whatnot. So curious there, but then also curious on what's the proper way to light a cigar. I'm going to go that basic.
That's a great question. That's a great question. So I'll bounce back and forth. I'll bounce back from a V cut to a hole punch, right? Hopefully the master blender and roller that we're teaming up with for our second core line isn't watching, because he probably strangled me through the computer, right? Because he says hole punches are terrible for cigars. I prefer either one. To me, a V cut, you get a little bit more of the flavor of the notes in the cigar, just because of the way the cut is, right? And to light a cigar, you see a lot of guys when they light a cigar, I mean, they put that flame right there to the cigar, right? And when you take that first puff, you're going to taste a lot of the ash, I guess you could say.
Ash, butane.
Yeah. So what I like to do is I like just to hold it, the lighter, probably about 4 inches away at an angle, and just kind of rotate the cigar, and you'll see the cherry at the end of the cigar. And then I tend to toast the edge of the cigar, so that binder kind of melts into the filler, and then that gives you an even burn the rest of your cigar. And that way, you know that you're not going to have a wonky burn. You're not going to have canoeing. You're not going to have uneven burn. It's going to have that nice straight line. So that's typically what I tell folks. And my brothers, we call him the teacher, because we have the professor. Because we have a lot of newbies that come into we have a mobile cigar lounge as well, and we have a lot of newbies that come in and don't know the first thing about cigars. And our philosophy is we'd love to have customers for life. We want them to enjoy their first cigar and learn about cigars and not scare them away or intimidate them. So we really take time to educate folks. And I mean, he does everything but smoke the cigar for them. I mean, that's how in depth he gets. So just remember, no questions is a stupid question, Jeff. I mean, you ask away, man.
Well, I feel a connection with you, and I know you're going to be friendly to me. If I ask these questions, to Kelsey or Vic or someone, no, I'm just joking.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
Now,
What's funny about
these
this?
things always break down on me too. Like I can never get these things to work for very long. Is
So
there a trick to these things too?
yeah, you got to make sure when you're getting low on fuel that you purge all of that butane out of it first. So on the bottom of that cigar, or on the bottom of the lighter, there's a little hole with a thing that you fill it up with. You take a knife or a little sharp pin, whatever else, and purge that and get all the butane out of it, and then refill it. Because what happens is that air bubbles will build up, and there'll be air pockets in there, and it won't light correctly.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Now, some people, when I see light it, you were talking about it being inches away. Some people light it while it's in their mouths too. Is there?
Mhm.
Do you
Yeah.
inhale? Do you pull the flame in? Do you just let it toast itself?
Yeah, you can pull the flame in a little bit.
Okay.
Get that ignition going. I do that at times as well. And even for folks when they're in the lounge or if we're doing a cut and light and we're lighting, we'll typically let them put the cigar to their mouth and we just kind of toast it for them as they're taking a puff, and it lights up a little bit faster.
All right. I was doing it all right. I was just self-conscious about it.
yeah, I think the main thing, at least for what my experience has been, that made the biggest difference is to get a lighter that you can control. And what I mean by that, like this one is kind of a hard lighter to control because it's got 4 burners. I mean, it's fucking big. So when you're starting out, get like a 1 or 2 flame burner. And what you want to do, like you said at the beginning, when you're toasting the edges of that binder into the wrapper and binder together to make that seal, and then light the cherry, and then toasting the foot, I actually hold the lighter further away because I just want the heat of the lighter to toast the foot, not the flame itself. And so a lot of times I even angle it down and angle it towards the cigar just to get the heat. And then by the time when you're toasting it, by the time you actually put the flame towards it, it should already be pretty much lit. I mean, you'll see the cherry, you'll see all of it light up. And a lot of times you can blow on the end of the cigar and you can see where it's lit versus when it's not lit. If you have to toast it. So.
And then one more question, because I got to go get another lighter real quick, but I'll be able to hear you. You mentioned a retrohale earlier when you were talking about sipping on the whiskey. Can you explain that term?
Yeah, so retrohale's pretty much when you take a puff from from your cigar, and you just kind of blow it out through your nose. The way I started, I put my tongue to the roof of my mouth, so the smoke wouldn't go in the back of my throat, and I started coughing, hacking everywhere. But I just kind of put my tongue to the top of the roof of my mouth, and I just kind of blow it out my nose like I'm sneezing or I'm blowing my nose, and you can really taste a lot of the notes by retrohaling. And you almost, when you get it down right, you almost look like a fire-breathing dragon with the smoke coming out of your mouth. So, but I gotta kind of have to stop because it's turning my white mustache a little yellow. So I gotta really scrub it at times.
Yeah. What's funny about that, is that was like a game changer for me on the cigar notes. of nerding out on being able to pull in cigar notes was being able to learn how to retrohale. Because you've only got what, 6 taste buds? Is that right? 6 sensors in your tongue? 6 or 7?
Yeah, 6. Yep.
6. There's 23 different receptors in your nose, in your olfactory system. So your nose is going to always pick up way more than your palate is going to. That same thing with food. Why do you smell your food, or why do you like the aroma of food? It's because you're learning what it's going to taste like before you actually taste it. So
Absolutely.
it is I will say this. It took me a little while to learn it because, like you said, I coughed and was like, I can't do this. The thing that got me to do it a little bit easier was not to try to retrohale the whole draw. So I blow most of 80 to 90% of the out my mouth, but the last 10 to 15% out my nose. And it really helps open up all of those other things that you can get from that. And so that really helped me with notes and getting more nerdy and understanding what people were talking about.
Yep.
Okay. Well, when it comes to the whiskey side of things, then, I mean, what do you typically drink? What are you into?
Man, I typically would go with Woodford. I'm a big Woodford guy. Angel's Envy. Yeah, those are, I think, my two go-tos.
Okay.
I like craft beer and wine, which is great pairing with cigars. There's a lot of great craft beers that go very well with our cigars.
Nice.
And red wine. And white wine.
You know what I did the other day? I'd never tried before. I don't know why in the world I had never thought to do it before. But I was at the Turk's house. They pulled out a port wine.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I paired port wine with a cigar, and I was like, oh, dear God.
Yeah.
That was such an experience. I was like, why have I not done this before? Well, part of it is I'm diabetic, so I can't drink a lot of it because it's so sweet and it's got a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah.
But if you're looking to get into some different pairings and stuff like that, rum is a great one. Wine is a great one. Cognac's a great one, especially with cigars. Everybody's favorite, Drifting Drams coffee pairs extremely well with any cigar, especially the cigar blend. I think Val's favorite, isn't it? Is the cigar blend?
It's amazing.
We just had it this morning.
Yeah.
It was nice, cool, and brisk here. It was probably, what, 40 degrees this morning.
Oh, wow. In Florida? Jeez.
And I made some Drifting Drams cigar blend with our 1982, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh my God, I got to get to work. It's like 9:30, you know? Yeah, it was great. You get lost for sure.
All of their coffee is great, but that cigar blend is phenomenal.
The retro can add a punch too.
You know, and one of the things I've learned about cigars versus whiskey is one of them is socially acceptable to have with your coffee in the morning. So,
yes. Have some whiskey and coffee.
A lot of people add bourbon cream, you know. But I think one of the fun things about, you know, this channel and what we tried to do with the whiskey, at least on our side, is just do what you're doing with cigars, is create a community that loves to have fun hanging out, but also has a purpose. And our purpose here on the channel is to share as much whiskey as we can, have shared experiences, and share love for the people that we share it with. And so that's been the cool thing about the crossover between the two worlds for me, is every cigar like community that I've been introduced to is kind of very, very similar to whiskey, is that most of the people that I've met have been salt of the earth people, just down to earth, love hanging out, love supporting each other when they know who you are, and they'll support you and you support them. And that was one of the cool things about meeting you guys is, I don't know, there was just an instant like connection and understanding of where you were coming from, where you wanted to go, and where we were at and where we wanted to go. And so I hope that you guys and Patreon will go check them out. And if you're not a cigar smoker, there's something at their lines for anybody that's either just starting that likes sweet cigars like Darrell.
You got to be very sweet.
So we may bring you some of the chocolate cigars next time for let you try some of those. I think you would like those.
Yeah, it's actual chocolate instead of like burnt coffee bean. I'm good.
Exactly. Coffee, he does not do coffee. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
No, and
He won't even do a coffee note in his whiskey.
Pour it out.
And a channel like yours, I can honestly say, I mean, I'm dabbling in bourbon, I'm learning, I'm drinking, and I have buddies of mine that, I mean, they got a whole room with nothing but bourbon bottles, like wall to wall, right? And they're connoisseurs, and it, like you, Jeff, I get a little intimidated when I go into their house because I'm like, oh God, what, I'll go Woodford, like, because that's what I go, that's my go-to. But programs like what you guys are putting out are awesome for guys like myself. And I kind of relate it to some of the podcasts that are out there that are for cigar smokers, that are new cigar smokers, and you learn so much because and you just listen to what you guys are saying and vice versa with the cigar podcast. You listen, you pick up so much, and you learn so much that when we have people that now, like Valerie puts on a ladies' night, for example, it's the last Thursday of the month, and it's growing, and we, of course, it's a ladies' night. My brother and I stay out of it. Val is the QB of the program, and now when she comes back and she's telling us that the women are actually venturing off into cigar lounges by themselves and enjoying a cigar in a cigar, something that they never did before. And it's like it's programs like this that would help me go to the whiskey bar downtown Pensacola, be able to sit at the bar and know what I'm talking about, and be able to enjoy myself and feel like I can hang, right? So my hat's off to you guys, because it's what you're doing is awesome.
Well, I mean, I think it was the coolest thing for me was learning that the more people you drink bourbon with, the more you learn, because everybody's palate's different, and what somebody calls A, you call B, but it's the same thing. And so you start learning the language of how each other thinks. And it was the same way with us. Like, I can know when Darrell says a certain word, exactly what he's talking about in a particular whiskey. I may not call it exactly that, but I know exactly what he's talking about because we've drank so much together. And the same thing with smoking. One of my favorite things locally to do is we have a great local brick and mortar shop, is to go in there and hang out with guys that are in their late 60s, early 70s that have been smoking for 30 years and just talk to them about cigars and how it's progressed and what has happened, what all have they smoked, what do they like, what they don't like. It's interesting when you go to a cigar bar. You may be sitting next to a banker, or you may be sitting next to a construction worker, or you may be sitting to a CEO. But when you get into a cigar shop, all that shit goes out the window and you're just smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
That's the coolest part about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's it's the conversations that you can have with them are priceless. I mean, I enjoy it. It's kind of, to me, when you're having a cigar, and it's pretty much the same way when you're drinking bourbon or whiskey or brandy or whatever you're drinking. It's about the experience, right?
Yep.
It's just an escape. I mean, people ask me all the time, how many cigars do you smoke a day? And I tell them, enough. Well, when do you smoke your first cigar? First thing in the morning. So they can't believe it. But it's to me, it's peaceful. Being in the backyard, listening to the birds, smoking a cigar, it's an escape, right? My daughters, they understand when dad's in the backyard smoking a cigar. Now they're in their 20s, but when he's out there smoking a cigar, they don't bring drama. They don't bother me. They kind of leave me alone. And Val's picking up on the same thing. She'll open up the door. She'll see me out there, and she'll close the door and go back inside. I'm in my chi, right? I'm just chilling. So
sometimes I join him.
Yeah, and sometimes she joins me. So it's
nice.
a good experience, man.
It's also a good thing for couples to smoke cigars together because you sit down and you have to sit there for an hour and actually communicate. So
Yeah, not much else you can do once you're locked in, right?
so you're forced to chit chat.
We're here, we're relaxing, we're just gonna talk for an hour.
Yeah,
I gotta get into whiskey.
You know,
that 25 years ago.
it was interesting that Lance makes that comment about cigars because I feel like right now, actually 3 years ago, I felt like we were in the best place in bourbon that we'd ever seen as far as many people involved in it, interested in it. And now I feel like the cigar world right now is probably has the most options that we've ever had in regards to what's out there to try, to smoke, to have different experiences with. It's not just the same old brands that have been around for 50 and 100 years. Not that there's anything wrong with those brands, but if that's all that you're smoking, you're missing out on so many cool things by not trying out some of these boutique brands like yourself and some others like HDA and some of these other veteran-owned brands that are out there producing quality product that is different than what's currently out there. And so it's kind of cool to see those two kind of parallel things going on with bourbon and cigars.
Yeah. I know it's funny. A while back, like right when we first started, I was on a podcast and I used this analogy. It's with boutique cigars, it's almost like a kid at Christmas, right? You get the big box, you open up the box, you don't know what's inside. And then when you open it, you're like all excited, right? It's the same thing with a boutique cigar. It's like, it's a cigar, looks like a cigar, right? It's brown or it's light, whatever. But you don't know what's in that cigar until you smoke it. And then with boutiques, it's amazing. When I first started smoking, all I smoked was large brands. The Perdomos, because that's all we had. And now when I go into a humidor, I'm looking for straight small to medium brands because they're putting out some of the best cigars out there right now. And that's why we teamed up with the factory that we're teaming up with out of the Dominican, is because we're using tobacco that I know for a fact there's one tobacco from one country that nobody's ever used before. And that was told to us by the master blender that helped us blend our cigars. So we're excited to roll it out. And like you mentioned, HDA, I mean, when HDA rolls out their cigars, it's like when Apple comes out with the new iPhone and you're standing in line for 8 hours. I'll stand in 8 hours for their cigars. I know it's going to be a great cigar, so I'll wait. I can't wait to try it. So it's
Yeah,
It's interesting. It's like any hobby you can have has that other side of the fence that you've just never seen before, and you don't realize it even exists. Like it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, or it has all these smaller brands and all this variety. You just don't even realize it. Even though you could have your own hobby that has that, you don't equate it to like, oh, every single hobby actually does have this line. And it's always interesting when you finally get to peer behind that curtain and like learn the terminology, see those brands. That's the same way that we're in with the whiskey. I mean, the brands that I drink are just the same way. It's all the crap brands. I mean, I just pulled out a K. Luke as an example because I love the guy that does this blending here because I know I have such similar sensibilities to him. And it's finished in Madeira, but it's not a brand that people talk about, at least much outside of our circle.
Right.
But it's great stuff, and it's just sitting there.
It's finished where?
It's finished
in a Madeira cask.
Okay.
So Madeira wine.
I learned something new tonight.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, they're not too far. I think they distribute in Alabama as well as Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah, in Alabama.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't remember. I'll have to get the distribution, but I'm pretty sure it's really close. Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, and Kentucky. So he's only in like 4 to 5 states. But that's a really cool brand to check out blending wise, because it's kind of, how blending a cigar is an art. To me, blending whiskey is way harder to not see as an art form, because I mean, this guy's taken several different barrels, sometimes 50 plus barrels, and blending it into a product that's he can scale, and then come out with something that tastes really, really good and unique. And to me, that's kind of the same process when you've got a master blender or somebody who knows the ins and outs of every type of tobacco, from the different things on the plant, from the Lajero to the Seco to the Viso, getting as nerdy as you want to get with the plant, and then being able to say, well, it needs a little bit more of this part of the plant to bring out these notes.
Yeah.
So just to kind of play off of that a little bit, the cool thing about our new core line that we're coming out with, so that didn't happen with our first one. I mean, they picked out notes, tried cigars, whatever. But like this next core line, we actually went for 2 days and sat with our blender, and he was rolling straight tobacco and like asking us what notes we wanted. And he was sitting there learning our palettes while we were smoking, and he would roll it and be like, here. And it would be like spot on to exactly what I asked him for. And it was it was money on the learning experience that all got 2 days of blending straight tobacco with him to pick out our cigars. So it's cool because we all three put a lot into picking these cigars, and it's going to be really amazing. So it's pretty cool.
I'm excited. I can't wait to try them and see the progression and see where, y'all's palates lie and what you like to smoke as far as when you're blending your own stuff. I mean,
there's one that you're going to really like. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. I'm excited.
No spoilers.
Leaves us on a cliffhanger. Oh no.
Well, guys, we've got about 4 minutes left. And then we're going to jump over to a Patreon only. You're more than welcome to stay on and hang out with us on the Patreon stream. I can send you that link as well if you'd like to here in a few minutes. Around 8:15 Central Time, we'll jump over there. Thank you guys so much. Let's talk. I know we talked a little bit about the stuff coming out in January. Is there any other plans down the road or anything else you want to highlight about what's coming up that people can know about?
Yeah, no, that's the biggest one. We're investing a lot of our time and efforts into rolling out the new blend, and it takes a little bit more work. We're working on boxes. We're working on the bands. It's the easiest part was blending. I thought it was going to be the hardest, but it was the easiest part with Ish. But that's our biggest high note right now is that next blend. And, we're looking forward to it. And again, thanks so much for having us on. We really appreciate it. We really enjoyed sitting down talking to you, and learned a little something from Jeff tonight. So that's even better. Now I got a little nugget to throw out there. Next time I'm in a whiskey or a bourbon bar, and hopefully they won't ask me any more in-depth questions, because that's all I got in my bag of tricks. So, but no, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. And guys, make sure you guys keep an eye out for the drop of the Copper and Cast coming up. We've got some other ones in the works as well. I know that we've still got JD Rye and JD Bourbon that will be dropping, as well as
K Luke and Still
K-Luke.
Austin.
Still
And then
Austin.
Next week we'll have another surprise, which we'll talk about later too.
I'm excited about that
Yep.
one.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure if you guys aren't involved in the Patreon that you guys get over to get into our Patreon and support that. And then we'll look to hearing more from Haze Gray after the new year and touch base with them again about their new blends. Come back on and highlight that. Talk about maybe some new pairings with the new blends as well. And maybe get to meet your brother as well on stream next time, and get to meet him. When I saw him, he was like the first time I saw Ethan. I went, okay. He's pretty tall. He's pretty tall dude.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I always tell everybody that's my young big brother.
mhm.
Yeah.
Jeff, anything else that we need to highlight before we get off?
No, I think that covers it. We are going overtime in about 15 minutes. If you're in the Patreon, you should have gotten the link this morning. And we will send a link out to join that. That'll be more pub style, and we'll do some quarterly rewards. Let's have some fun.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for joining, everybody. It's time to head over to Jason C. over at the Mash and Drum, and we'll catch you on the next Whiskey Wednesday. Bye, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, everybody.